Emergency helicopter landing is something very common these days, but some are extremely dangerous and uncommon. Here are 15 extremely rare emergency helicopter landing. But before we jump into number 1, be sure that you have subscribed and hit the bell icon to keep yourself informed with amazing videos. With that said, let's jump into our incredible list. On July 27, 2015, a military Black Hawk helicopter of the United States assisted to provide medical emergency along the Chena Hot Springs Road in Fairbanks. This was not an easy task as the pilot of the helicopter had to maneuver through the tall trees along the road to be able to land the helicopter on the narrow road. Lucky enough, the pilot was skilled enough to be able to land the big attack helicopter on the road and then lifted off the road after the medical assistance was provided. On 15 April 2015, people who had gone down to the beach were shocked when they saw a big military-grade helicopter making an emergency landing at Solana Beach in Southern California. The 100-foot CH-53E Super Stallion was conducting routine flight when the oil pressure light came on, and the pilot decided to make an emergency landing at the beach in order to save the Marine helicopter. Repairs were made, and the CH-53E Super Stallion had to continue with its routine flight. Prince William made an emergency water bird landing in Canada. He demonstrated this to show how the Marines sink pirates in big oceans around the world. The helicopter lost altitude quickly to stimulate engine failure and rotors were slowed down. Then it was Prince William's job to slowly land the helicopter on the water in order to keep his crew members safe. Emergency landing on water is one of the dangerous procedures the Marine pilots do. Prince Williams was able to land the helicopter onto the water, something that can be used in case of rescue and surveillance on big ships. The modified CH-124 Sea King is able to make many emergency sea landings like this. In this clip, a rescue helicopter was out of fuel after trying to rescue some people on the beach. The pilot was able to identify this in time and made an emergency landing on Tramore Beach in Waterford. In this clip, a helicopter that had just taken off failed to pick its intended flight and ended up making an emergency landing in the road. Unfortunately, the emergency landing was not successful as the rotor blades of the helicopter hit a tree, causing the rotor blades to split into two. This caused a rapidly down movement of the helicopter. Luckily enough, the helicopter was not too high, and all the people in it managed to survive. It seems beaches are the best places for helicopter emergency landing. The men and women who had gone to swim were disrupted when a helicopter that was flying to some other place suddenly turned around and made an emergency landing on the beach that was populated by people. Helicopters landing on the ship is something that is not also easy. Things become more difficult when the ship is on unstable sea, where storm and strong waves exist. This makes the ship to move in uncoordinated way. And landing a helicopter on it makes the situation even more difficult. But perhaps this pilot of this helicopter was skilled enough to land it in such bad weather, but of course with the help of the messed threads that prevented the helicopter from rotating around. A helicopter belonging to KTLA-5 news agency got an engine problem, and the smoke started coming out in one of its engine. The pilot of the helicopter had to struggle as much as possible to find a safe place where he could land the helicopter safely. He first tried the hilltop, but he later found out that there was no flat place to land. He therefore had to go to the town areas where there was a valley with some flat grounds for landing. He was able to find some flat grounds, but most of them had cars parked in them. Luckily he found one that had no cars, and he was able to land the helicopter before it caught fire. The pilot saved himself and his crew.
I'm sure he's landing. He's got to be landing.
What would you do in case you land a helicopter that was nearly crashing into a busy road safely? This calls for celebration like this pilot. Hope you don't blame him. How would you feel if you are on the highway going back home and suddenly you see an helicopter landing in front of you way? This is what happened on some random highway when the pilot of the back helicopter made an emergency landing in the middle of the road. Making an emergency landing in water can be something very difficult for non-military helicopters that are not made to land on water. This is the situation the pilot of this helicopter faced. Luckily enough, he had floaters that kept the helicopter on top of water up to when a rescue boat came in.